What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on TCG University for the card game UniVersus. My name's Tam, and I'm joined with
James
and Tyler.
What Study Hall is for the unenrolled is we've taken a bunch of your guys' UniVersus topics as well as some of our own, and we sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. If you like that and you want to get the show ad-free, please go out to patreon.com/TCG University. You catch the pre-show and the post-show as we talk about it, and a bunch of extra cool, awesome content. Join the community, so on and so forth. But if you don't have any bucks to toss, that's totally chill. You can catch the entire episode ad-full out on YouTube.com, whether just a couple of days later. I post it freaking everywhere. Right.
If you can also see our face, you can go to Spotify.
Yeah, for sure. Don't want to see our dumb face, go to Spotify. We're also on other platforms such as Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, Twitch, as well as podcast services around the globe. And big shout out to all of our sponsors: Addy, Andrew Dang, Anthony Albino, Bryce Rathsack, Chris Miner, Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, John Stone, Justin Farce, Kat Maria, Kevin Broberg, Kieran Vision, Lucinda Letica, Okemawa, Paul Casagrande, Peyton Kiker, Samantha Stevens, the baddest bitch around, Sean O'Brien, Teodoro Rees, Tyler Zane Pease, as well as big shout out to our sponsors, Cards Custom Build, Inked Gaming, and Dex Protection, but we'll talk to you about those later. So before we jump into this, I actually want to continue on with the energy that we just had.
From the pre-show.
From the pre-show. So if you want that, sorry, pay the buck this week. We're talking a little bit about Princess and the Pea, and we got to the word broken. And this week in UniVersus, me and Kevin Broberg, at time of recording yesterday, recorded commentary over the UniVersus Canada's online local. And we had 3 matches, which took about, we'll say, an hour. It took about an hour to get through all 3 matches. We could say 2 hours for all 3 matches because Princess of the Pea was involved in most of them. But me and Kevin decided to stream for 5 hours that day and have a big, long discussion about whatever the fuck we wanted to talk about. It was really, really awesome, really exciting. You should go out and
come down and you were not watching games.
Yeah, I was not watching games. If you want to check those, the VODs are out on Twitch. And the games will be out on the UniVersus Canada YouTube page. We'll put a link down in the description down below. With that said, I sent them to them today. I don't know when they're going to come out. So if we could put those down in the description down below.
Down?
Thanks for paying attention. UniVersus Canada. UniVersus Canada.
I stopped paying attention for half a second.
That's okay. No, I forgive you. But that's why I'm here, to push the show forward. So we started talking about what the word broken means. And I think broken is a term that gets thrown around in games way too much. Yeah. It is lost.
It's hyperbole now.
It's such hyperbole. It is the phrase broken is broken. Uh-huh. And so what I want to talk about is what is the actual definition of broken. The main title of this podcast is
Banned and
Should You Ban Cards or Errata Cards? And that was brought to us by one of our Patreon sponsors, whose name I haven't forgotten, but is double checking and looking up just in case. Mega Thunderzord. Is it better to ban a card or errata a card?
Like twice or three to 20.
So my question is what does broken mean? And then we can get to the real topic, right? Mm-hmm. What does broken mean?
It provides. It is unfair. It's an unfair mechanic within a game that creates such a negative play experience that people do not want to play your game because of it.
Okay.
Is that a good enough definition?
It's your definition, and so yes, it is a good enough definition.
All right.
What's broken? What does the word broken mean? Man, this card is broken.
Card that's really good. Just like does everything you would want it to do in the scope of what it does.
So that seems like more of the hyperbole answer.
No. Like, in the scope of what it does, I could not see this card even doing any more than it does.
So, in the scope of what it does, can you jump on that part of your sentence?
Sure. If I look
Give
at
me an
Tagora
example
Brothers,
of a broken card.
If I look at Tagora Brothers.
The Tagora Brothers.
That card either leaves the card pool or draws me a card, and then it destroys and negates.
Okay.
I could not see that card actually doing anything else. Anything more than it already does.
Okay.
Besides leaving and drawing a card. But I guess they did have to tone it back just a little bit. It'd be too good if it was discard and draw.
Okay. All right. That's fair. It is okay for your opinion. You're on a podcast. Get your opinion on a podcast. It's okay. Yokohama in the chat. No, we have not seen Hax's video on Broken, but I would love for you to link that to us either in the chat.
Borkin.
Stop it. In the chat, or
think
if
it's
you want to
named
message me
Borkin.
personally, I would love to take a look at it.
I'd laugh if the video's named Borkin.
What do you think?
On what he said, or
Yeah,
what?
on what he said.
So the reason why I stopped him and said that sounds like the hyperbole answer is because that just sounds like a really good card versus a card that. So like, I guess the way that everybody is using the definition broken, it'd be that is that a card is so good that like you can't see it getting any better, and that is what everybody uses the word.
I
broken
don't
with.
think that's hyperbole. I think your definition is more hyperbole because it's opinionated.
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
Because your definition is this card's so good it creates a negative play experience.
Right.
Negative play experience is player based,
Correct.
not
Sure.
card based.
sure,
Correct.
I think there's
Well,
like,
how much a card does is also
Everything
opinionated
in and of
because
itself,
you're
yeah.
not a designer, right? And I will say it, guys. I watched an hour-long lecture by Mark Rosewater, the lead designer for Magic, last night. So I'm pretty much an expert in design now.
Sure.
And
What'd you learn from him? Because I know you can't do anything by yourself.
the big thing. Well, I did have a charity of people jumping in and helping me. No, the big thing that I learned when I was watching it, and I was editing videos and paying attention as much as I could, and I'm planning on watching this thing like 4,500 more times. It was really, really cool. If you want, I'll send you links. But the main thing that I got out of it in my first view was that humans are emotional creatures. Humans like to feel good when they feel good, and they feel bad when they feel bad, and they almost never are. They're 9 times out of 10, they're going to say negative things, then they will say positive things. And so it's really easy for a card to be torqued, and people say that it is broken and it is unfun because it elicits a negative feeling whenever they play it, right? So when I think of the word broken, I think of a card that makes it could be a card that makes neither player feel good. For this example, I would 100% say that Tagore Brothers, in my example, is a broken card because I feel like a total dickhead when I play it, right? Ah, shit, man. I'm sorry that I did this to you, but at the same time, I'm okay because I won the game, right? Like I mean, that itself is an opinion. So like I'm okay with playing the broken card because it's in my deck. I'm using it, right? So it elicits a negative response. When we look at the root of the cause, Princess and the Pea, and the man, this is broken or it's not broken. I feel like garbage when I sit down across from Princess and the Pea playing what we could consider an honest game of UniVersus, and I build my 4 foundations and hold my 2 really good blocks, and I'm like, ooh, I'm so excited to do my cool things on my next turn. And then they go, actually, you don't have one, because you didn't happen to see the outs that you've exclusively put in your deck. How many times have you guys fought against a Snake Man and drawn up your hand on their kill turn and seen that you had no low blocks and you were at half health? This means you're dead. Snake Man's not broken, but people complain because it was easy to feel bad about Snake Man.
Yeah.
Because of the random happenstance. Because, yeah. And so...
Arcade.
Is it still the pre-show? No, it's not the pre-show. It's actually the real show. I maybe should have changed my timer.
You changed the timer. You didn't start the timer, and did you change the lower thirds?
I did not change the lower thirds. That's what Yokohama's
That's
talking me about. Thanks, Yokohama, for helping me out. You fix that. Ban is Erratus. But it's really easy to get this negative thought. Like, I feel bad playing as Princess and the Pea. I'm sure I'm not going to have any fun on Thursday or Tuesday when we record this thing.
Sure.
Which is why I'm very excited for after we're done with Princess versus the World, we're going to play regular games with our cool decks. That's the plan. Is we're gonna run 7 matches with Princess and the Pea. I suspect that to take about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we're gonna fill the last 2 hours with just playing games. That's the plan.
Like an actual campus championship?
No. We're not filming those, but I want to give the good people, like, they've come to Twitch to hang out with us for 4 hours. Let's
Right.
give them 4 hours worth of gameplay and hanging out.
The people on Twitch next week at 6 o'clock Tuesday
Thank you.
Central.
Central Time.
It matters.
So, I think that, like, Princess and the Pea is playing a different game than everybody else.
Yes.
And that's the reason that I consider her broken. Is we have a fundamental idea of how UniVersus is played, and that does not work with how we play the game. It is not in the spirit of how we play the game. Mm-hmm. And that is my issue. And we can look back at examples of this in the past of things that have gotten banned or touched, right? The reason Jedi got banned was not because he was so unbelievably good, but because whenever he was dominating the scene, you felt bad because of it.
Right.
But the same thing with Twinkle Murdoch. It felt really bad when you wanted to do your cool thing and it got auto-negated every turn. And so she got an errata. For the same reason the Mature got banned. Hey, you are not doing this thing that everybody else is supposed to be doing. You do not have this kind of limiter. And so we are touching this character. Please don't play that game anymore. It's I think it is... I think broken is very opinionated. I'm not positive that there is a factual argument to be made about the word broken.
Sure.
So to bring it all the way back to the main topic, you are the lead designer of UniVersus. Princess and the P exists. Let's say it has existed, and we are going to the next PTC next month. Yeah. The decision is totally in your hand. Do you ban her? Do you errata her? Do you leave her where she is? What's your thought?
If so, the PTC is next month?
The PTC is next month. The reason that is people could easily change their mind about what they want to play,
Sure.
right?
I would still say that is not enough time, and I would ban her. If the PTC was the next... If it's like...
It's happening in 30 days.
I would ban her then. If it's like, well, we don't want her to be dominating the next event she goes to, then it'd be a ban. If it's like in preparation for like a big thing like Worlds or Nationals, then an errata.
Interesting.
So
we're
like,
gonna come back to why you are changing those two choices.
So sorry, not
real fast. Ban errata. Ban errata. Leave the same.
Well, neither.
Though there are three choices, you can't say neither.
Why can't I say neither? I can't. Well, leave it as is would be neither.
Okay, sure.
You said ban or errata.
Sure.
And I heard
ban errata, leave her as is. You want to leave her as is?
Because we haven't had anything. She hasn't done anything. She's won a couple locals. I can show up to locals and win with anything.
Fair.
Like it just
fair.
I can show up to locals, win with the deck, and have my entire community go, "This is degenerate. I don't want to play against this."
What happens whenever she goes to our local and we play 7 rounds in a row and she wins all of them?
She showed up and won an entire local. It's still happening.
7 rounds in a row.
Yes. Decks can do it.
maybe only dropping one game.
It's still fine.
Okay.
A character shows up and does it all the time.
Okay.
You can do anything. She hasn't had enough time to have anything. She hasn't had enough time to do anything. Do you know they banned Skullman and Gemini Man? They didn't do anything.
They existed at PTCs, right?
Yeah. They got to play in PTCs. And they didn't win anything.
And they played Foundations and Attacks?
They played Foundations and Attacks.
And they killed you on turn 1?
Gemini Man could, but he had to get real lucky.
Okay.
I guess Skullman 2 could have, as Skullman as well.
So, but they had to get lucky to do it.
Yeah, so does Princess and the P.
I guess we'll find out. I ban the shit out of her. I just get rid of her. She's gone. See ya. No errata. See ya.
Sure. Yeah.
Why?
So
what's the difference between the two times? Why does that matter?
So, if there's a PTC in a month, but like Nationals is in 3 months, then
Sure.
I would errata her either after the PTC. I'd give her one PTC, right? If we're talking like she's coming out tomorrow and the PTC's in a month, but we know that she's so degenerate that she's going to win this PTC, or at least at the very least she's going to be a problem there, then I would leave her for 1 month and then errata her. I'd give her one. And then if it's like, oh yeah, now that there's this sample size of 20, 30 people, and she actually had a little bit harder of a time, then maybe I'd consider leaving her. But I don't really see that happening. And then I'd errata her.
My thing is like, I don't want to errata her. The main reason I don't want to errata her is because, no offense to anybody out there, nobody gives a shit about Princess and the P. right? Nobody is like, holy shit, Princess and the Pea is in this game. Oh my god, I have to play this character.
Right.
The only reason you would play these DLC characters is because their mechanics are cool. Nobody's chomping at the bit to play the Cheshire Cat when you can play literally every other thing in the game, right? You have so many options. If you want to go play the Cheshire Cat, go play Force of Will, right? That's a game that you go play the Cheshire Cat, and you can play the Cheshire Cat in a bunch of different
I play
things.
Cheshire Cat here this too. It doesn't change it.
What
I
I'm
wanna
what
play
I'm
the
what I'm
Cheshire
saying
Cat
is
with the Cheshire
it's
Cat.
not Yusuke, right? Where we
Right.
or like a
It's,
like
it's
a,
not a main.
it's not a main character.
Yeah.
And so that is point number one, but that's like the worst point. The main point of the reason I would just get rid of her as opposed to an errata is an errata existing means that, like, I get it, we messed up and we're trying to pull the brakes on it. I would rather the Jasko be chill with being like, okay, sorry, we've banned 1 dot, here is 2 dot.
Right.
Who does something different. Who
So I mentioned this the other day because we were talking about it last night about it being the idea for the campus championship or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about it again last night. Is I think they need to reprint her since technically it's not really printed yet.
Yeah.
Or they don't have as many printed yet.
Right.
They just reprint her and fix her.
It depends on how many copies they've printed out
already. Yeah.
I think it's just a monetary thing.
And
But
then like Kraz said, I'm not very proactive. No, proactive would have been playtesting.
I
No
mean,
offense to the playtesting team. It's just proactive would have been playtesting. At this point, I would say the better option is to print a counter.
let me be in
let
Jasko's
her
corner
play.
for 1 second, right?
Yeah.
And then we will come back to Errata's bans, right? Let me be in Jasko's corner for 1 second. Jasko is feeling this pandemic just like everybody else, and the whole reason that this character and this is all assumptions. I don't know any inside information. If I did, I wouldn't be telling you. I keep my sources close to the chest. Let's say that
I was wearing a watch.
let's say that they JT, run! They're coming right now. Let's say that Jasko didn't play test this card.
Yeah.
We'll just assume they didn't. They have to drum up hype in order to keep people active. That's the reason they're pushing so hard for every Friday they have a deal out on their website in order to try and keep people. Jasko has to be in the forefront of your mind, just like every other small business right now. Every single small business is doing their absolute damnedest to stay in the forefront of your mind so that whenever you have $5 of extra income, you can give it to them so they don't die.
I think they reprint then. They don't print new stuff.
What?
I think that's utterly terrible to just put out a character without playtesting.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, but I'm just trying to be in their corner.
I'm saying if that's what they did, it's like the biggest mistake you can make because like it's absolutely ridiculous to print something, spend money on the print something without like fully testing it to only have it be like rejected by your entire community.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
It would have just been better if they just printed it blank and said, "Here's the art for the next character we're going to put out in like a month." And then that entire month they do nothing but playtest. Or they do whatever and they get it done.
But then like we have to talk about like how does Jasko spend their time, right? Which that's not what this topic is, and we could sit here and nitpick Jasko all day long, but I'm positive that Jason's not going to take the things that we say on this podcast of, hey man, here's how you should spend your 8 hours or 12 hours or 16 hours that you do working on this game. Here's how you should spend it. We know because we're sitting in the comfort of our home playing dumb cards.
Right.
Another thing that Mark said is that players know problems with your game, but they're not very good at coming up with solutions. Which is why I'm going to do my best on this podcast on future podcasts is to be neutral. I don't want to give you options of what you should do, Jason. I'm not going to look at the camera anymore and say if I snuck in to Ryan Pham's house and I killed him and wore his skin as a suit and I was the new Ryan Pham of Jasko. Here's what I do. I'm not going to say that anymore.
You probably will. You probably will.
One, because it's fucked up. And two, because he asked me legally.
There's paperwork and everything.
So anywho, I'm still want to go back to this month thing.
Yeah.
So you think just let's tailor it down a little bit and see how it does up until nationals, up into a major?
Right. So, well, here's the thing. I'm Jasko's lead designer. Jason just hired me.
Oh, congratulations.
Right?
You didn't even have to wear Ryan's skin.
I didn't have to wear Ryan's skin.
See, all you had to do was ask.
I just had to put on his clothes, and he got fooled. He didn't really look at me in the face. He was like, "Eh."
They both wear glasses. Is
Yeah.
whatever.
You get a new haircut, Ryan?
Yeah. Like,
Nice, I like it.
yes, J
Yeah.
Man. He's like, you always call me J Man. Must be you. So I'm lead designer, and we just printed a bunch of things. I want to make sure, and people just bought all of them. I want to.
Tyler,
I want
you
them
always
to
call
say-
me J Man Clark.
I want the thing that we just sold to like people to buy it, right? I don't want a bunch of.
Damn.
I don't want a bunch of.
Money talks.
I don't want a bunch of comic books or whatever they're selling with the. It's a whole big thing, right? It's like
Cam, if you gave it time, your wallet would have fell out anyways.
I guess Princess of the P is in like a huge set of like 26 cards, right?
They are promos to be handed out at events. I don't remember if it is PTC's proper or if it is
Just promos.
Then maybe that changes my
promos
mind,
for
actually.
Premier Store events or.
All right. I was thinking about like this is
not a DLC
This is a
set.
DLC set.
It is not a DLC
Okay.
set.
Then yeah, banner.
All right.
if
it's-
it was a
it's
DLC,
ridiculous.
if it was like a thing where like you have to buy it and then one of these, like two of these cards in this thing, or like two of these cards in this 12 card thing, you can't play. That's kind of shitty.
Do you think killing somebody on turn 1 is hype?
Yeah.
Do you think killing somebody on turn 1 is hype?
Yes, I don't think like. So it's hype, but like if your deck does it in every single turn, that's not cool.
That's how I feel as well. I think killing somebody on turn 1 is hype as hell.
Like, if-
I think I was hype when I killed you with Van Helsing.
Yeah.
It was sick. I had no foundations, and I had
But
to.
that was also turn 2.
It was turn 2. I had no foundations. I had done. I had to.
You had one foundation. I stuffed it in your card.
That's
Right.
why it's cool. It's because like it's this or nothing.
This isn't gonna work. Oh my! Holy shit! It
Yeah.
worked.
It's the
Doing
Hail
it
Mary.
consistently, doing it every turn, doing it 2 out of 3 times. Fuck that. That's lame.
Hail Marys are cool, but when it's not a Hail Mary, it's just the plan.
Oh man. Okay. Let's roll some dice. Ah shit! I won the die roll. Well, I guess you killed me. Okay. You won the die roll. Ah shit! Well, I guess you killed me. All right. Good games. That's good.
Get good, scrub.
good shit. Yeah, I think back to Bands or Erratas. Let's taking clear my mind of Princess and the P. The best example I put, and I have it up on the thumbnail, is Spirit Gun versus Tiger Scream. One got an errata, one got a ban.
Yeah.
Do you agree with those decisions? Why does Tiger Scream get the ban treatment, whereas Spirit Gun gets the errata treatment?
Because they hate me.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a good point.
It's because they.
It's because Jason's like, never call me J-Man ever again.
It's because Yusuke makes money.
You just can't make money.
Yeah.
Money.
Why
talks.
with you want to sell?
Bianca makes Tyler happy,
Yeah.
so they got to ban.
Well, they both created the same problem
Go on.
with Spirit Gun Under Death and all the other stuff with it. It's degenerate, but they need to sell Yu Yu Hakusho, and why would the main character's main card not be able to be played? It doesn't sell anything. Who gives a fuck about Byakko? Fuck you, Tyler.
Yeah, fair.
But like that card itself,
It's the exact Princess and the Pea reason that I gave. Of the Cheshire Cat, Princess and the Pea, fuck them. Just ban them.
well, like, I like Princess. I like the entire.
I get it. I get what you're saying, but
But,
I don't.
I think they should just errata Tiger Scream.
To say?
Probably 5-hander only, or like the certain ability on that 5-hander only. Because then you only
you
get
have more
to
vitality than your opponent, something like that.
yeah. Well, I don't think that'd work. I think it has to be 5-hander only.
Maybe. Well, like
Because if it's more than, because like then it means, not Liu Kang, the other one,
Kung Jin?
Kung Jin, still gets to do it. He's a 28 hand. He's a 28 vitality character.
26, 27, something like that.
I thought he was 28.
He is not. I'm
okay.
positive he's not.
So 27. He just destroys 7-handers regardless. Still,
that's whatever.
anybody with 26 destroys him.
That's fine. That it at least.
That's fine, he says.
Yeah, because one-shotting people's not fair, right?
Correct. That's why I
That's the
said.
entire argument.
That's the reason that Tiger Scream is banned, is because Tiger Scream kills you and Spirit Gun helps you kill people.
Yeah.
Right? Spirit Gun by
Well, no, I'm
Spirit Gun by itself
100% sure it's
is
to sell Yu Hakusho boxes.
I don't disagree with that, but I can't I can't confirm that it is
I said
from a
I
monetary
100% feel.
cost. I think that it is 100%. Spirit Gun helps you kill people and makes and like, oh, that's gonna be an issue. Bang, I'll shoot that. Okay, now this attack will kill you. Whereas Tiger Scream just oh man, look, there's a 6 on top of my deck. I killed you. It's the exact same. You could squint your eyes and look, and here's a Princess and the Pea problem that I said I'd forget about. Like, it's just, it consistently killed on turn 1.
I also
and
did
there
not
were,
have a problem with the Tiger Scream deck.
well, the thing is like, once again, on turn 1 with such a limited amount of resources, you had to find your answer. I mean, I already feel bad enough when games end on turn 2 and I only got to see 12 cards. We could say max 18 cards because of a mulligan rule, and not being able to find answers. And so just reducing that by one more turn, it just doesn't feel good. Like, your aggro decks should be killing people on I would be super chill if aggro decks did half to 3/4 health on turn 2 and then finish the job on turn 3. I'd be fine with that. I'd be totally fine. I think that's like the perfect pace for, hey, I'm gonna slam down Nightmare, and you have 3 fucking turns to get to put up your Badukes. You got 3 turns, and then you should be dead. And that's fine. The issue is that, and it should be like so few and far between that happens. And we should scale up to how defensive we should be. And the exact opposite end, we should be able to sit down, and I look at somebody like, I made the example on the stream. When I sit down, there's almost nobody that I sit down across from and go, shit, I know we're going to time. But there's so many characters in the game right now where I go, shit, they're gonna murder me.
Yeah.
I sit down across from Scorpion and go, fuck, I'm dead. I sit down from Nightmare and go, fuck, I'm dead. I sit down from Kin 2, fuck, I'm dead. But there's nobody that I sit down across from and go like, maybe it's like Siegfried and that's it. Or I'm just like, fuck, this game's gonna take forever. We are gonna play till turn 12, and Siegfried's gonna love every minute of it, just barely poking me with throws and doing lame shit, right? But like, that doesn't exist under every symbol. That doesn't exist under every. There's like a handful. Like, it's just Earth. And then on the flip side, some Earth decks just fucking murder you like Tim 2.
It's a product of the meta.
Yeah, it's the cards that have been printed because it's
100% not Princess and the Pea's fault. If we didn't have Punch and Judy,
I don't like you using the word 100%.
I think if we didn't have the entire last 4 main sets that have our hard actions, I don't think she'd be as bad. Because the idea is actions are supposed to be your far and in between cards. She's just supposed to play heavy on the action side to get to play more things, but it means she doesn't get to play more foundations. She doesn't get to play as many assets. She doesn't get to play assets. She has to probably run the same attacks, but she doesn't get to run the same amount of foundations. She has to play low. The issue is we have Punch and Judy, Demon Realm. You get Throw It Down because it was reprinted. You get, I guess, Strongest Style, which is much older cards. But you get all these cards that are just power creep because the meta. That's what the meta does. It gets better and gets better and gets better. And then you print characters that sometimes just don't do anything, like Byakko. You print literally does something, but you print all these characters that can't compete with fast characters, and then you get everybody who whines because they want to play these slower characters, but this fast character goes brr and just wins.
Yeah,
it's just a product of the meta. They didn't print. They printed almost no defensive cards to handle this type of thing. Just going on it just.
Well, the thing is well, I want to get off the Princess and the Pea so bad. The thing is when it comes to bans versus erratas, is I think it's totally fine for us. I am every second of every day going closer to ban this thing and then print a different version, a corrected version, a more thoughtful version later, right? Yeah. Once again, I watched this one Magic design video, so I'm an expert on it, and he said that people were way more forgiving whenever you tried to do something and do something creative and interesting than when you played it safe. And so this character is a very interesting, unique. When I was thinking and daydreaming, having a bubble bath, candles, relaxing.
Why were you in our bathroom?
Because you don't keep the door locked. And I was like, what does my character do? The thing that I wanted my character to do interacted with actions, because actions and characters don't really mesh right now. Uh-huh. This is a character that does. When you look at every character in Standard, I'm not positive there's a single one besides her that says the word action on them. right? That doesn't exist. And so,
I guess not. I was gonna say Dijonette, but she technically just says spell circle.
yeah, she just add the spell circle, but it's not even, whatever. But there's not a character that interacts with actions. And so I'm totally cool with let's just ban the character and then bring it back. Yokohama has asked in the chat, what are the pros of banning?
What are the cons of banning? What are the pros of Errata? Cons of Erratas?
I was going to take them one at a time, but sure, let's just...
I'll say them all once. We can repeat them later. Fuck you.
What are the pros of banning?
Pros of banning are you get it out of the format.
You get it out of the format.
Yeah, the thing you're banning.
The problem card.
Okay.
You get it out of the format.
What are the...
I'm going to give you the same answer when you ask this.
What are the cons of banning?
You get it out of the format.
Ooh. All right. Go ahead. Jump in deep.
Okay. So the reason that I said the pros are you get it out of the format is if it's a problem card and you get it out of the format should just get better. Should. Use quotations here. Mm-hmm. The cons are when you kick it out of the format, that character's no longer there. You lost this character you printed for this format. This character doesn't exist. It's not playable. All the support that would have been printed with it no longer has that character to support it and has to be played in other things.
Fair.
The cons and the pros are the same because they're two sides of the coin. One side is it's there, one side it's not. So if you take it away, everything that should have been there when it was there is no longer there. And when you keep it in, everything that's there is still there.
Well, I guess I can understand that because we can
It's the
we
reason
can
why
feel
Spirit
this
Gun didn't get banned.
we can feel this with Tiger Scream, right?
Yeah.
That Byakko does not have a
True kill
you
card.
could say a finisher, but almost all of Byakko's cards are fucking finishers in him.
Yeah. Like a true kill card.
Yeah. But the thing is when this card is, and I'll use this term that I think I used in the pre-show, when a card is a weed, I want to get rid of it, right? When what are the pros and cons of banning? In my eyes, the pros of banning is the fact that the pro of banning is that Jasko is taking notice of their format. Right? Yeah. We have us as players know how we want to play. We know how we want the format to feel. And so if Jasko is willing to ban things, then, and they've said it before because they care about how the format works, right? They care about the health of the game. It's one of the things that I love about them. They are not about the monetary purchases. That is the message that they have given. So when they ban a card, it makes me as a player feel like shit, they're taking care of it. The cons of banning are whenever you do get that, the fact that Maxi was the only Soul Calibur character I had ever played on console. Ever. Mm-hmm. They banned him. Fuck. I wanted to play that character.
Right.
Man, I had this really sick meme cool idea that I want to express myself with Tiger Scream. That was not this unbelievable, crazy, degenerate garbage. Yeah. Right? I had this really cool idea with Tiger Scream. And the next day they banned it. Oh man, I picked up 4 of these. I paid $45 to pick up my 4 Tiger Screams. What do you mean it got banned?
Yeah.
I can't play it? And so because of the fact that they have these cards that are torqued, because they have these cards that are not great, the pros and cons of banning and errating cards, it feels bad when I'm not allowed to play with these cards that I wanted to play with. Mm-hmm. And so the pros of errata would be, I spent the $45 on this card. Maybe it's not worth $45, but at least I get to sleeve it. Yeah. It's not going to sit in a binder all day. And that's how I feel, right?
You can still probably play it, just maybe not as good as before.
Yeah.
Nobody's new Maxi still gets to do basically what he was doing before, just not as good.
Yeah. I still feel like the life of the character is inside of that reprint. Yeah. But the character had to be banned and was banned for months. He was banned for two sets?
2 to 3?
Yeah, which means it was half a year
on the third
at
set
least.
He came back.
Yeah.
So he was banned for Soul Calibur, 7th Cross, and UU, and came back with Soul Calibur.
And so for 6 to 9 months, I didn't get to play my favorite character in Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Shucks. Anything to add? What makes a band feel good? What makes a band feel bad?
I'll move on to that one because Yokohama asked a new question.
I had
what makes a band
thing.
good?
It's positive for the good and bad pros of banning, but Jasko doesn't have a very good record of printing things immediately after they're banned to replace them. 6 to 9 months to me is way too long to take an entire character you plan to put into the game out.
Interesting. So
because like Twinkle Murdoch was 4 sets. So it came out at, we got our copies along with Liu Kang and what's Quan Chi 2 dot.
Yeah.
At the Atlanta PTC.
Chicago.
Atlanta PTC.
Was it not with like Mark Tyner, or not with the?
I don't know when it came out. I remember we got our copies at the Atlanta PTC
Maybe.
because I traded FAM.
does not matter.
Okay, yeah.
Continue.
But like we got them there, and that was after Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers, which means Twinkle Murdoch didn't come out for also like 3 to 4 sets. And I think that's just way unreasonable. If you wanted to play the game because for whatever reason your favorite character is Twinkle Murdoch, like that character's just not there. You join the game because Cowboy Bebop, I get to play Twinkle Murdoch, I get to play whatever. That character's just not there. That character was there and you're like, oh, cool. And then it goes, ban. Oh, the character I wanted to play is gone. And then, are they reprinting it? Yeah. And then you sit around for 2.5, 3 months and then they still don't release it and you go, well, I only wanted to play this character. Bye.
Well, so let's talk about it, right? I can totally get how you could feel that way. But why did the character get banned in the first place?
Because people thought it was too strong.
Because it was, we'll use the word, broken. It did not fit inside of what Jasko thought the meta should be. Mm-hmm. It did not fit inside of that box. And so rather than just shoot from the hip again and print something that could possibly get banned again, like they did with Quan Chi 2 dot, who was the most recent ban out of that set, and toss it back in. Now we don't have
I almost don't
an
count
issue.
Quan Chi as the same band, but I get it. I don't count Quan Chi and Shinnok as the same bands as like the other ones. In my opinion, they didn't get banned because they were too broken. They got banned because they limited the way they built formats. I don't find that to be the same limitations as they were too good.
I think that's the same limitation in just a different way, right? I think it's just a different slice of the pie.
I think it matters more upon meta versus like game health, like full game health. Because like you ban characters like Dimitri, Mature, and all these characters because they warp formats because people don't enjoy playing against them. They just stayed at the top and did nothing and just stood there. But like for like Quan Chi and Shinnok, they weren't sitting at the top the entire time. Shinnok barely showed up to events, got squeaked in a bunch of times. Quan Chi was good that one time and then got an errata and then showed up because Jake Johnson doesn't know how to put down a fucking deck. But like, it just, these characters weren't super broken.
Yeah.
It's just when they went to design things, they would always have to think about these characters.
Yeah, it just changed the way that the game was played.
They had to change the way they built the game.
Yeah. Which was not inside of the standard thought process of how UniVersus should be
No,
played.
it was inside the standard thought process. How do I want this character to play? I want it to have this cool once per turn enhance. I want to have this cool once per turn whatever. You know, it's inside the game's format. It's just these characters abuse certain rules. Like this one says that it can play other cool enhances. That's really neat. But if I make something too good for another character, it just makes this character broken later. Yeah. And then it makes this character good. And then Shinnok just doesn't let you play the game as fun as other characters would. He gets to interact and you don't. It's not that they're broken. It just, they don't want to create things inside that format, inside that realm of possibility.
Okay. I'm not positive where to push off from what you finished.
No ban makes me feel bad.
Really?
Most of the time.
Well, that's not no ban then.
I said it, and then I was like, wait a second. I just bitched about Tiger Scream.
Tell me about it.
It's whenever there's a ban, it's always like for a reason. And I'll almost always agree with the reason. Even with Tiger Scream. It's just one of those cards where I look at it. I'm like, man, I really wish I could have played this card.
I'd rather see fun counters.
You'd rather see fun encounters or
Counter-
fun
so
he's
counters.
saying he wants
Fun, I want fun
Jasco to-
interaction. I want them to print fun interaction that works against the character.
So he wants to
Print
he wants
silver
Jasco
bullets.
to
Not silver bullets, but like floodgates. But not like hard.
Perfect. Yeah, floodgates. That's how you fix a game. Fuck
Not hard floodgates, like soft ones. Like every time you do this thing, I want to do a thing too.
yeah. Okay.
Or like every time your opponent plays an action, check a 5 -1 speed.
Those are deterrents as opposed
Sure.
to true interactions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They slow an aggressive character down rather than just completely shut them off. It allows the character to still play their game, but allows you to play defense as well. Instead of just going, this character's not fun, bye. And then you didn't add anything to the game, all you did was take something away.
I think that
You should always improve a game and not just take things away.
but taking things away doesn't improve the game.
It doesn't, though. You take pieces out of the game.
Yeah, to make everything else better.
Yeah, but if you took an entire piece out of a cake, you took an entire piece out of the cake.
But it's not a
If
this
just
is like
because
a-
you forgot
this
to
is-
just because you
but
forgot
this
to
is
put
like a self-regenerating cake at that point. Then.
it's not though. Just because you forgot to add frosting to a cake doesn't mean you take the piece you didn't frost away.
So can I?
You frost the
If
cake.
we're gonna talk about analogies, I'm the king of them.
Right.
Yeah, I
The
know.
problem is Jasco accidentally spoiled the strawberries, and they have made this beautiful cake and they put rotten strawberries on it. And what you're saying is let's paint the strawberries by adding something extra, but the strawberries are still rotten. The strawberries are still bad.
There's just some edible.
I'm
frosting
not
on
allowed to draw cards.
No, I'm saying
I'm not allowed to. Your character says literally, if I draw cards, if I draw a card, I commit the coolest part of my deck.
yeah.
No, get rid of the strawberries. Right?
Play
You
differently.
take the strawberries off and go, okay, instead, the strawberries in the trash are bad. We didn't realize the strawberries were going to be that bad.
it. Here's some less good strawberries.
Here's some less good strawberries.
in 3 to 6 months.
By then they'll be bad. Case in point, Liu Kang
So here's the thing:
and Twinkle.
they took a picture of a strawberry and put it on there. I actually think Twinkle's fan. I think Twinkle's fun.
I think Twinkle's
fun.
really cool. I just think her time's passed. Is
Yeah,
what I think it is.
I mean, I
I
actually,
same with Liu Kang. I think both their formats just passed.
this is a very hard side topic. I actually think all of Bebop is slowly getting phased out, which is actually
I think Asmar Queen is climbing.
which is like an interesting thought process. Anywho.
Like
Are there any last minute thoughts on Bands Erratas? I want you to really, really flush it out because we're moving on to a similar topic, and I don't want to keep coming back to this.
I think adding to a card game is better than taking things out. Adding to the game is cooler than taking things out.
I don't disagree with you, except for the fact of like, so watching a Core gaming video, right? And there's tons of them. You should watch them. And it was talking about nerfs versus buffs, right? And they were saying that you always want to buff the lower characters.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the thing is because we're playing a card game and because our symbols are locked, whenever I buff the lower characters, it will accidentally bleed into the higher characters. Because whenever you take and you buff a character in a fighting game and you only buff them, they only get to play what their kit is. That's it. That's all of it. And so when you buff this individual character, you're only touching that one character. But whenever I put in a card that fights this one guy, there's only three symbols that get to touch those. And if that symbol accidentally is inside of their symbol, then not only did I just
sick mirror matches.
I made a piece for the mirror match. That sucks. That doesn't feel good. Yeah. That's why whenever we talk about things like Forbidden Moonset and the reason Forbidden Moonset, Spirit Gun, Tagora Brothers, like all of these are inside very similar symbols. Mm-hmm. We've got 2 death symbols that share and 2 life symbols that share. So you could take and put all 3 of those into a character that has life and death and feel fine about it. Like, I don't know, Yusuke, right? And you feel fine because of the way that the game works. And so the life symbol is doing things that it wasn't supposed to because they were printing answers to the issues, right? And so we could say that we were printing these, and I'm going to use the term because it's exactly what it is. We're printing these silver bullets that, hey, this symbol is having an issue with this thing, and so let's print this cool thing. But whenever you are adding and you get to spread off, like,
you don't have to make them broken. Make them generically good.
I
I think like
that's-
Venomous is generically good.
I think that's too slow though. If a character's like with sets coming out every 3 to 6 months, like putting in, all right, here's a little answer to this broken thing,
Yeah.
that's going to slow it down a little bit. Now you got to wait another 3 months for us to put in another little answer that's going to slow it down even a little bit more. That's
You should only need to slow it down once. If you keep having to print answers, then you have a real
Then
problem.
ban it.
Then
I wouldn't say ban it.
So close. We almost got him.
almost
We
got
almost
fuck.
Taking things away is not fun.
Sure, but like neither is something existing in the meta and running rampant for 6 months.
I agree. I agree with both points, right? But I am just in the camp of I would rather have my entire tournament experience be fun than have a singular match be fun, which is what we're talking about, right? I would rather everybody in the room enjoy playing the entire event as opposed to there are 4 or 5 tables that are having to fight against this unbelievable this true boogeyman of the format and have an issue with it. But at the same time, Tamara Cardwell, am okay with a rotating ban list.
Man, if we get, I would
I would
ban
l-
limit
I would-
list.
I would
a
lo-
rotating ban limit list.
I would
be
love
sick.
a rotating ban list. I would love cards to come off and then back on. If there is no reason for, and me and Kevin talked about this for the retro format. There's no reason for some of the cards that were banned in their time to come back. For them not to come back, right? Like Kim was banned because he did some really crazy things, but Kim right
He's
now
gonna
would
be
get
real slow.
Would get fucked up.
Yeah.
Kim would
way
get
too slow.
fucked up. Prince of the P is not going to give a shit about the top card of his deck, right?
Right.
It's like, oh, nice team, Kim. You built it on one. I killed you on one. get on my level. Eat your vegetables. So like, there's maybe we take these. Maybe Jetta comes back.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe we fix the keyword issue and Gil comes back. Maybe that happens. Maybe that's fine. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
if we took cards off, we put cards back on. Whenever we get rid of whenever Kung Jin rotates out, right? Because Kung Jin was the main offender of the Tiger Scrim thing because of how quickly he could mill his deck.
Yeah.
Bring Tiger Scrim back.
Yeah.
Let's give it a shot. That's but what I'm saying is once a card is locked in jail, it shouldn't be a life sentence automatically. It shouldn't.
Yeah.
There should be a constant relook at. You should constantly be able to come back up for parole. Hey, is this card still insane? Which is why the free Ryu 2 dot Ryu 2 dot is like I want to bring this character back.
Do you want this to be our next shirt? Is free Ryu 2 dot?
Maybe free Ryu 2 dot, and like let's let him live in the format for a little bit. If we still have that same consistency issue that the all symbol very much appears that it has, then let's get rid of him again. Let's have it rotate.
Hey, what consistency issue?
What?
What consistency issue? Princess of the P just swept the tournament, playing all.
That's what I'm saying.
What consistency
If it's too consistent,
Oh,
right? That's what I'm saying.
I was making it.
If the all symbol is too consistent, as it appears to be,
You were complaining the other day because all does nothing. So
to reiterate my point, all does nothing that I want to do. All is really good on its own turn, and that's fucking it. It is. I think it is the most burr symbol possible. Yeah, just
Dumbass joke.
Hey man, look at these 6 cards. I'm gonna play them. Well, sometimes these 6 cards turn into 12 cards, and I'm gonna play them, and then they hit real hard, and then I sit here and I put my hand down and I look at my phone for your turn, and I'll block when I can. I'll flip one fake block. Ah shit. Okay, all right. I will. I'll try it again. Yeah. Do Ryu 2 versus the world if you really want to back. Hey, that is a thing that I would be down to do. I'd be down, actually. I'd be super down for that. That sounds really fun. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a small ad break, and then we're going to move on to a similar topic, but let's try and keep bands and Erratas out of it.
sure.
Cards Custom Builds. Are you into cosplay? Looking to get into cosplay? Do you want to show up to events dressed as your favorite character? Well, then Cards Custom Build can help. Cards Custom Build creates everything from cosplay accessories like props, trinkets, or weaponry, all the way up to full-blown costumes. Do you want to make a perfectly flowing cloth, or maybe want rigid battle armor? Cards Custom Build has you covered. Their work is guaranteed to make you the talk of the con. So go over to Cards Custom Build on either Facebook or on their Etsy account. Links will be in the description down below. And make sure you mention TCG University to get 5% off your entire order. We're also sponsored sponsored by InkedGaming.com. Are you looking to get a custom playmat? Well, then we suggest you check out InkedGaming.com. They have custom playmats, dice bags, mouse pads, and so much more. They even recently added a stitch option to their playmat and mouse pads as well. Stop those frayed edges from happening. Inked Gaming lets you play your game with your style, and if you want to get 10% off of your entire order, use the code TCG University, all caps, no spaces at checkout, and help support us by customizing your game to your style. And lastly, the show's brought to you by Dex Protection. Dex Protection is on a never-ending pursuit to create the highest quality storage and protection accessories. Their design and innovation comes from die-hard gamers and collectors just like you. They're constantly taking in feedback from their customers, and they have no plans to stop their innovations or their drive to refine the products until they're recognized as a leader in their industry. They make terrific products, all with the avid gamer and collector in mind. So go ahead and check them out. The link will be in the description down below. What a great ad break. So, the second topic that we're going to be doing today is...
I didn't write the time down.
You're all good. A topic that was inspired to us on the UniVersus Discord, the shameless Discord. And this was by Arch. This is a picture, and I'm going to send it in the group chat for you to put it up on the screen. If you could write that down for me.
Okay.
The quote is...
From who? Picture of...
Do you also want to
Arch.
change the title?
Yeah, I do. We'll change it as we go. The real reality is we're approaching a metagame where I would be fine with introducing an Ultra Move keyword, which you can only have 4 of total in a deck, then retroactively applying it to a whole bunch of shit. And I hate that kind of idea. So basically what Arch is saying is that there are some cards in the game that are so, I'm going to use the word, broken, that you should be able to play 4 of one of these awesome broken cards. If we'll say that we'll put the broken keyword on Tagora Brothers, Revoke, Missile Launcher, Coffee Samba, right? And let's pretend they all share symbols. I could play 4 Revokes, but then I can't play any of the other cards.
Okay.
Or I could play 1 of each. I could play 1 Revoke, 1 Tagora Brothers, 1 Coffee Samba, 1 Missile Launcher.
Yeah. Okay.
And so my question is to a game design point, as a player, would you want this to happen to UniVersus? Is that something that interests
Like
you?
an Ultra Move?
It is literally an Ultra Move.
So I talked about this on a podcast already, where I like the idea of having, like, I don't agree with like having a specific card that says like Ultra, but I like the idea of what Final Fantasy does, and I thought it'd be really cool as like a plus
Can you talk?
like a plus Ultra type move. Like certain attacks have like plus Ultra, and the idea is you discard a second copy of it, or like remove another copy of it from like your discard pile or whatever.
Yeah.
And you play that cool special ability. So in a sense, you only get to play at max 3 times. But you have to have it either in your discard pile or your hand or whatever, and you have to remove it from the game. And you get to do this cool thing.
So I'm it's similar to what Arch was talking about.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, there'll be a link for the Discord in the description down below as well. Did you put a
Screenshot of the Arch thing?
type Discord? What are your thoughts?
I think I like the idea. It does sound cool.
Okay.
And I think it would maybe make things healthier.
What this does is this essentially says that the good shit package deck that we keep building of Missile Launcher, Coffee Som, wow, none of those, neither of those had, Missile Launcher, Shotgun, Meteor, Nutcracker are just all thrown into every good deck it could possibly play.
Yeah.
And you end up with a $700 Seong Mina deck because of it.
Right.
That doesn't happen because all 4 of those cards are for sure having Ultra Move on them.
Yeah.
Right? And so now you get to pick.
Dude, he's talking about how much I hate fucking free things.
That's exactly what it's talking about. That is
God
100.
damn
That's
it. At least somebody fucking agrees with me.
That's 100% what he's talking about. And so my question is that something that interests you?
Are these all things that would be errated to get them?
Correct. Yeah. So Missile Launcher would now also have the keyword Ultra Move.
Sure.
That's the only way you can do it. You have to give things keywords.
Yeah. It's just funny because it has 12 keywords already.
Or you change how like the word unique works, but that doesn't feel good either.
Or ultra
Right.
rare. Maybe ultra rare is just the way it is.
E-
Yeah, but I mean that's what it is, right?
So-
You print the ultra rares as
So the thing
For a
about
reason.
that is that now limits Jasco's sales. Like I don't see them possibly ever doing this because if you just strictly put it on the ultra rares, at the only thing I need for one deck is one set of this ultra rare, and I'm content. Not to mention now my actions, my assets can't be ultra rare level powered. They just can't. They have to be commons and
Yeah,
commons
this-
and
it just
commons
means
rare.
that I like this idea because it just means they stop printing ultra rare assets. Because I fucking hate that.
So
I think ultra rare assets and foundations are lame. Actions too.
So like, I think it's got to be an errata thing, because then what you're saying is basically they're just printing like that. Just leaves them to then say, well, this is going to be an ultra move, so we get to make it broken because it makes it pseudo limited.
Yeah.
Which I don't agree with. I think that should be reserved for like, well, if we're gonna make this thing broken, we gotta give it the correct.
what if they created a new rarity?
Quit using the word broken.
What? Yeah, no more bands or ratas. What if they create a new like rarity?
Okay.
Like starting with my hero, just forward. There's a new rarity that is their ultra move rarity, and those are the ultra moves. You don't really errata anything forward, and you just have to understand that like things are still going to be broken until you get to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the way like Cowboy Bebop was like things are broke, things are real good right now. I said broken. Things are real good right now.
Yep.
But eventually everything will level out.
Yeah.
You just have to get to that point. Just like, cool. 1,000% Detroit Smash or whatever, or what is it?
Yep.
It's Detroit Smash or whatever. Here's your ultra move. It has ultra move. You can only play 4 of the ultra move, and that's it. So then, like, if All Might has his own ultra move, you can't play it in this one if they share symbols, and you're not allowed to start crossing. You're allowed to have 4 of a copy, and it's printed as the ultra rare move. It'd be the same thing as having like character only attacks. Is they'd be super strong in that character, but it's the only point in which they're gonna be that good.
So that's exactly the mentality that you want with the ultra rares currently, right?
I want the character to be better in its own character than just generically good for every fucking character in the game.
Yeah. And I am actually like super against this whole idea. There's an asterisk there, but I'm against the idea of retroactively doing it. I don't want to go back and errata these cards. I want them just to exist how they are. And I'm actually not okay with printing a plus. We'll call them plus ultra moves, even though we have the word ultra rare in our game. Whatever. We have these plus ultra moves. I'm not in love with that. If the character's ultra rare inside of their 9 card set is the plus ultra move. If there's 12 characters in the set, we have 12 plus ultra moves in the back for each character, sure. But I don't want it to touch the cards inside of the core set. But then, like, now we have to design even more cards, which means that there's even more playtest that has to happen, which means there's even a bigger chance of things to mess up.
Yeah.
I like the idea
Why
of...
would it be more? I think it'd be the same amount of cards. Like if you started with like My Hero 4, it'd be the same amount of cards. Because you're just changing one of the rarities. Instead of every character getting 2 ultra rares, it's an ultra rare and a plus or like a plus ultra. And then you don't have to worry
So
about
every character has 10 cards in their set?
the same amount of cards. The same amount of cards.
Okay.
So on top of already having their really good like rare ultra or whatever they want to make it, they have their plus ultra move or their ultra move or whatever.
Yeah.
And that ultra rare takes like their big spot. Kind of the same way missile launcher takes up one of the big spots for Jet. The same way Katarina has fucking Tijuana groceries. But like the same way as all those. The same way M3C takes up that spot for Spike.
Yeah.
I mean they also have Swordfish, which fucking happens because there's 2 ultra rare spots. But instead of having 2 ultra rares,
Not a good set comparison because of
size.
the size of the
Yeah.
sets are different. The characters have different amounts of cards.
It also doesn't matter because of the way Jasco prints their things, which is they allot the ultra rares to what they want them to be. Not every character gets the same amount of allotted ultra rares and rares.
I think I have a reason behind that, but like it's not a great one, not one that's relevant to the conversation at hand, at least. Yeah, I think this idea, this mentality is interesting and neat. It's just I don't want extra restriction on what I am allowed to do with the game. And then like if it is a quote plus ultra move and we have an issue with ultra rares to begin with, like with the power of the URs, which I'll call them now. If URs are that good, then why would I bother? Either you have to torque the plus ultra moves to make them like nutty, borderline broken.
That's what I was saying earlier, is that if they're going to design them not as an errata, but as like this is what it's going to be,
Yeah.
It changes how they then decide to limit it, right? Because like each extremely strong card has some sort of restriction on top of it, either a 1 check or a high difficulty or both, or some stipulation within it. Well, this now changes the stipulation where, well, you can only play 4 of these kind of cards, so this can be a 5 def and a 3 check and still have the abilities of a 1 def or of a 1 check, but now it just doesn't have that negative associated with it because it has this other negative associated with it. But then that's not really a negative because you can just play 4 of it, and then that's enough because this is so
Please no ultra rare characters, Yokohama.
Crazy.
I don't want that.
It feels
Sounds dumb.
like I 100% agree with you. I actually completely and totally agree with you. I like as cool as this sounds on paper, you're like, fuck yeah, we're gonna limit what everybody can do. Just like let's just put the shackles on everybody's deck building because these cards are super good and you just play $500 hands and fuck them up. That doesn't feel good to me as somebody who wants to be creative. Which we had another topic on the show, which we don't have a chance to get to because of time constraints. But like of how do you express yourself in the game? And if Jasko's telling me what I can and can't play even more than the symbol system already, then it's going to feel bad. It's going to feel bad as somebody who wants to express themselves in the deck.
I think it could be looked at as like an alternative to.
Yokohama's right. I did say that.
Yes.
So the only problem I have with this Yokohama is that it would make like $20 ultra rare characters if you wanted to play a stacker character, and I already fucking hate that for the promos. It's terrible.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
It would putting this in the game could be implemented as a different way of errataing cards instead of an errata or a ban. It's like, well, this is clearly a problem within the game, but it all sort of like is together. Well, instead of banning one real problem in there, like instead of banning Shadow Slicer, we can just sort of put all these cards and give them the ultra move treatment so that you don't have to limit it a little bit.
So
like, this card is an engine. Now it gets to be the only engine in the deck.
The thing about and Yokohama hit a point that I didn't necessarily want to bring up because I agree with it, but I don't necessarily agree with it in this point, was restrictions breed creativity, right? Whenever we take and we have these pauper tournaments and we have these pauper decks, it makes us play cards we've never played before. Mm-hmm. We have to look through and play all these other interesting, unique, cool cards. And so if we weren't allowed to play just, hey, we have the all good and earth symbol, let's just play Nutcracker. Like if we weren't allowed to do that, what extra cool things could we do inside? How could we express ourselves more?
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is the fact, and this might just be like in a perfect world this actually works out, but what I'm worried about is Jasko's ability to tailor these 4-card ultra rares to not feel like every time that I draw one of them, I auto win the game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about. Every time that I draw one of them, they're so freaking good that it just blows my opponent out. There's just no chance.
Right.
And that's my issue with is if we already have ultra plus ultra level URs,
mm-hmm.
and we have to retroactively go back and put the keyword on them, right?
Right.
It like, I don't know. I want to be able to play with whatever cards I want to be able to play with. I just want Jasko to print good cards.
Yeah.
I want him to print balanced, fun, fair cards. That's what I want. I'm not positive that this is the way that you wrangle it in.
I think it just brings upon a point that I've been saying for a while, which is Jasko needs to look at the power level of some of these cards.
I don't disagree with you. Right?
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said about like Once again, listen to that video. There's no way to fix. As somebody who plays the cards, I don't know how to fix the problems that Jasko has. I don't know the restrictions that they have. But Shield Bang would not have been an issue if you made it a 2 damage attack. It would have been a very cool ultra rare, but it would not have been a very hype ultra rare for you to open. Why the fuck is this 2 damage? Yeah. It's an ultra rare. Mm-hmm. Why is this 2 damage? And then somebody like us, they can listen to a podcast and we push on our glasses and go, well, actually, on turn 6, because of what Cassandra's asset does, it's not a 2 damage ultra rare, it's a 4 damage ultra rare, and you're allowed to play it 12 times, and they don't have 12 blocks, and so it kills you.
Yeah.
And so instead, they were like, actually, it's just an 8 high for 8 that you play on turn 3 4 times, and they die as well. That's fucking hype, though. Yeah. Playing the same card 4 times is fucking cool. Ask Shadow Slicer. Yeah. Right? And so, like, it's such an actual torn idea of, like, what makes the players feel good. That's the question, because ultimately that should be the goal of every card that they make. How do we make the players feel good?
Yeah.
If slapping plus ultra on a bunch of really, really, we'll say the best of the best cards is how we do that, then sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
If slapping plus ultra on future cards and that's how we make people feel good, yeah, that's fine. But honestly, I don't know.
Ooh.
Honestly, I don't know.
What if plus ultra is only for the My Hero format? What if they did something like that for just My Hero? Like, this is a side tangent that doesn't matter for standard at all. But what if those were just like certain My Hero format only stuff? That's how you develop that format itself. Because then it doesn't bleed into standard. It gives something My Hero related into the My Hero game that's unique comparatively to retro, being you get extra sets instead of just you only play My Hero as the cool caveat for the My Hero format.
I'm down for this idea as long as, once again, it feels good. It feels fun to play as and against. If I feel like I have a chance against these plus ultra moves and they aren't literal sky cloud ripping punches that blow up a slime monster on turn 2, as long as it's not that, I'm fine with it. As long as it feels good playing, Jasko, print whatever the fuck you want. Make it work however you need to make it work. Just make it feel good. Mm-hmm. I want to come out of the game having proven my skill, expressed myself, and had an experience. That's what I want. That's what every player should want. I have proven that I am the better player. I got to do it my way, and and something cool and memorable happened inside of the game. Everybody should want that thing. Everybody. I was better than you because of the cool deck I made, and this is how.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. That's it. And so whenever the designers sit down, and I know they are, and they're saying, how do I make that thing happen? I'm not sure printing a card that you only get 4 of inside of your deck is the way to do that. Unless the words on that card and the numbers on that card are fair.
Yeah.
And I'm not positive that whenever you take and you have take it back. If I take and I limit and I put plus ultra on the cards going backwards.
Uh-huh.
This is a good decision if with those plus ultra cards in the game, I can prove that I'm better, express myself as I do it, and have a story afterwards. As long as I can hit those 3 things, I'm down.
Yeah. I guess I'll add this little caveat here. I think this plus ultra concept only works if the number of insane cards is so many that after Worlds, instead of banning, we'll say 6 attacks instead of like 6 character cards, they're like, well, the clear best thing to do is ban these 6 attacks. Well, now we just add plus ultra on budget cards. I think that it only works if you have enough that it actually becomes relevant.
Guys, did you know we've already fucking done this?
Huh.
We did the Ultra Rare Campus Championships where we take one Ultra Rare and you build your fucking deck around it.
Yeah.
We already did that.
Yeah.
We've done it twice. Yeah. If you want to see how the Plus Ultra format works, fucking look at our channel. There's a fucking playlist. Called UR Build Arounds.
I didn't like doing that, so I'm with you.
Well, the idea is you would get to play Ultra Rares and stuff, but you only get one of that really, really good Ultra Rare.
Fuck,
Yeah.
that was funny.
So you can play ultra rares, but you just don't get to do 4 meteor, 4 nutcracker, 4 missile, 4. You only get to play one of those 4. But you still play other bad ultra rares.
I mean, and at the same time, like whenever we talk about we talk about card quality, would Vicious Madness be considered one of these plus ultra moves? It's an 8 damage throw that you're not allowed to partial block on a 5 diff with a 3 check and a low block
That's real cool.
with a desperation ability. Is that a plus ultra move? Because I believe that's a common. I can tell you that the ultra rares inside of the Nightmare deck is not what killed my Kevin Broberg.
Well, I'll
It
let
was
you
very
know,
much-
the ultra rares inside of the Nightmare set aren't very good.
Right. And so the ultra rares are not the plus ultra moves. It was very much double Vicious Madness that I was not allowed to interact with.
Yeah.
Is that the plus ultra move?
I think what we're learning is that there's too much of a requirement. It's all too much. It's all too much.
It's never design any cards ever again.
I mean, it'd be too much for it to get implemented.
So this is where, and don't tell him I said this. This is where like we could start to agree with James of like, since you could take and make a case for every card doing too much, but without using the mantra, if everything's broken, nothing's broken, because that's not true. That's
Right.
not true at all. If everything is doing interesting and cool things, if things are unique and fun, then I get to take and touch and move pieces inside of the deck in interesting and fun ways. And we start to slowly see what just by themselves pieces rise to the top, and they're just crazy good for no reason. Like Vicious Madness. It is almost never bad to throw a Vicious Madness after turn 2.
Yeah.
If I built 3 foundations and I don't play bad checks, I'm throwing Vicious Madness at you. For the same reason, it is never bad to just throw a singular Shadow Slice at somebody. I have a Shadow Slice and I don't have any in my discard pile. I'm tossing it. There's no reason not to. It doesn't have a block. It's a 6 high for 6. You have to respect and deal with. There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
So like there's these ideas of there's a bunch of cards in the game that feel this way, and I don't know. It's just I don't want them to print a plus ultra move and errata all these plus ultra moves onto our quote unquote good cards, leave any off, and now we have a weed. What happens when the Tagore Brothers doesn't get the plus ultra treatment?
Sure. Yeah.
Who's deciding what's a plus ultra move from the past and what's not? Because that's opinion based. I love Missile Launcher. I think Missile Launcher is a totally fair and balanced card. James hates Missile Launcher. It's a broken card.
Well, I just think
needs to have plus
don't-
ultra. This is just an example. I don't give a shit about your opinion on Missile Launcher.
Wow.
But what I'm saying
Tam
is
doesn't give a fuck about my opinion. Go figure.
is no matter what Jasco does, there's going to be somebody who's like, well, that card didn't deserve the plus ultra treatment, and this card did deserve the plus ultra treatment.
Yeah.
How could you possibly leave this card off? How could you there's people saying that Jeddah did nothing wrong. Jeddah was fucking abysmal to fight against whenever he was
fucking
winning.
terrible.
He was atrocious to fight
Fucking
against.
annoying as shit.
Jeddah did nothing wrong. Ask half the community. You can't make anybody happy.
Yeah.
You can't make everybody happy. You can make some people happy.
That's why I'll continuously argue everything
Good point.
until everyone.
Any last minute thoughts on plus ultra moves and them existing inside the game?
I'm fine with it. I think it sounds cool.
I now think that I've changed my opinion from the beginning. I think it is now the requirements for it to exist are now too high for it to ever be, I think, healthy for the game.
Fair enough. And so with that, thank you very much for watching the show. If you liked it, make sure you do the cool YouTube stuff. If you want to, feel free to support us out on Patreon. That would be really rad. And check us out on all the other social media platforms. So from all of us here at TCG University, thank you very much for watching, and stay learned.
See you guys next time.
Get learned.
Then learn.
Ben learn. Hey, yeah. This
Goodbye.
podcast we have closeouts.
You son of a bitch, I'll kill you.
Fucking have 3